Beautiful. Okay. People, what's going on, people? So I'll go kick, position, kick, cross hook, kick.
Hey guys, Stuart, Tomlinson, Warrior Collective. I hope you're well. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I put up the Fairtex pole bag. Now, the Fairtex pole bag is an iconic bag from one of the best known brands in the world, Fairtex. Now, the 7-foot bag stereotypically is known for its size. Now, its size is what makes it quite difficult to put up. Now, you can hang it like a normal bag, but it was designed with a special sleeve that runs down the middle to be pole mounted. Now, unfortunately, Fairtex, because of obviously the size, the weight, and the cost, they never came up with the fixings, the mount themselves. So people all around the world have to come up with their own ways of kind of making it work in their own space, whether that's a gym or a home space in a garage. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you down into the gym and show you just exactly how I've got mine set up. Okay, so I'm down in the gym, and as you can see, I'm here with my Fairtex bags. Okay, so the Fairtex bags that I have set up are all on a scaffolding frame, which I created bespoke for this purpose. Now, you can't see from this angle at the moment, but there are 6 bags all set up in a very similar way. Now, they are 7 foot tall, as you can see, so they're not really a bag that most people will commonly have in the home. However, if you do have the space, then great. It's a great piece of kit to have. Now, this bag has recently just been refilled, and that's another reason why I'm wanting to kind of do this how to set up video now. Is right in the middle of reshaping and refilling the bag. So very often what goes wrong with the Fairtex bags is people pack them, fill them, and then just leave them, and over time they start to deteriorate because the material inside settles in different ways. It's well worth to extend their life, to revisit them, move the material around if need be, and reshape them, which is exactly what I'm in the middle of doing now. So this one is one that's recently been refilled and reshaped. And as you can see, it looks pretty uniform, it looks pretty smooth, and that's because we've put the work in to make it look like that. And these bags aren't new. These bags have been up for 4 or 5 years now, and they're still in really good condition, even though they're used a hell of a lot. So the pole bag then is different from a normal hanging bag in that right through the center of the bag, there is an insert. Now that insert allows, as the name suggests, a pole to go through it. Now, as I've already mentioned, Fairtex never made a mount specifically for this use. So people everywhere have to kind of come up with their own ways of doing it. Now, some people do use these bags as just a normal hanging bag and completely ignore the insert for the pole, which again is fine. If you're just using it as a hanging bag, you don't need to use the insert. However, if like me, you kind of want to use it for what it's for, and that's having the pole running through it, then you need to kind of take into consideration a few things. Now, one of the benefits of having it pole mounted as opposed to just hanging like a normal bag is it will definitely prolong its life. With the pole mount there, it puts less strain on the straps, and also you can do what I've done, which is ratchet it up to make it taut and make it not only smooth, but having it taut lessens the impacts of the shot. As you'll see on some bags is, if there's loads of creases in the bag and it starts to sit, you'll start to get tears in the bag. So having it pole mounted and having it taut will lessen that impact. So I'm gonna go up this bag that's in the middle of being refilled now, just to kind of show you a little bit of what I've done inside. Each pole that's going through the bag is 2 scaffolding poles that I've connected together, and then they're bolted onto one scaffolding pole that runs right across the length of the ceiling. Now on the floor, the bottom of the 2 scaffolding poles are connected together into one point, and then that's bolted into the floor. And at the top, like I said, they're both connected to the one that runs across the ceiling. To make this secure on the ceiling, at different points, I've got RSJs, and then we've got the scaffolding clamped onto the RSJs. So this is about as stable as it gets. It's very strong. It's not going anywhere. Now, just so you can kind of see a little bit more up close what's going in the bag, I'm going to switch to my phone, and that way you can have a bit of a closer look of exactly what's going on. Now, at the top, one of the things that I've done is I've connected all the straps to a ratchet. Now that ratchet is not taking any weight, but it allows me to tighten up all the straps and lift the bag to make it taut. In the bag itself, now this is one of the things a lot of people ask me, what do I fill these bags with? Now within the bag, here's the insert that I was telling you about, and that's where the poles run down. And also one thing I didn't mention, but around the poles, I've also put some foam cladding. Just the same sort of thing that you do to insulate your pipes, and that's just so the hard metal of the pipes doesn't have an abrasive effect on the insert. So that's a nice little detail there if you want to do the same thing. As you can see here, the insert runs all the way down through the center of the bag. Now what I've done, again, to try and prolong and extend the life of the bag, is round the inside, I've put a thick, dense foam. Now that thick, dense foam wraps around the entire inside of the bag. Now, once it's inside the bag, I've then proceeded to layer different materials going from the bottom to the top. So what this dense foam sheet does is offers a very uniform surface and keeps the surface smooth from excess bulges from different pieces of material. Now, what piece of material are in there? It's a mixture between cut up rags, cut up fabric, and pieces of dense foam, all compacted down. Now, once that's all compacted down, then obviously I zip the top up, and then we use the ratchet strap to ratchet it up to make it nice and taut. You can fill it with sand, you can fill it with traditional things other than the fabric. The reason why I went mainly with shredded fabric and dense foam was, again, I was thinking of the shelf life of the bag. Those materials are all easy to take out of the bag and then rejig and put back in. Also, the problem with sand and little stones, even though they're really hard and they're great for conditioning, they do have a negative impact over time that they solidify at the bottom. The bottom will become really hard, and if you ever wanted to move it or take it down, or like what I've done, which is to shift the fabric around, you're gonna have a really difficult time. So it is a personal choice, but again, because I've got 6 bags, I was kind of thinking that I really wanted to make them last, and if I ever wanted to change location of them, they wouldn't necessarily be destroyed in the process if I had to move them. So if you wanted to replicate what I've done with your bags, really, it's not a straightforward process. You do have to spend a little bit of time planning, and there is going to be an extra expense above and beyond the bag. So you buy the bag, then obviously what you've got to think about is materials. If you are doing what I've said and just hanging it, then you can fill it with whatever you want. If you're going to be pole mounting it, then you're going to need to think about what sort of a frame you're going to create to put the pole down the middle. And like I said, these are 2 scaffolding poles that run from top to bottom, and then 1 scaffolding pole that runs across. Obviously, if you're only putting 1 bag up, you may not need the scaffolding pole that runs across. You could simply fix the poles to the ceiling just in the same way that I fixed the pole to the bottom, and then bolt them in place. Because your weight's not going to be hanging off the ceiling, it's going to be pretty stable. Again, it's helpful to have somewhere you connect it to the ceiling, just so like you do what I've done, which is ratchet the straps and make it nice and taut. Okay, I hope that's been of use to you. Obviously, you can see that the Fairtex pole bag is an investment in not only the money it takes to buy the bag, the money you've got to spend on filling the bag, and then obviously the money you've got to put into getting that bag set up. Now, as I've said, there are different ways to set it up. And as you can see from my setup, I have a lot of space because it's a gym environment. I'm sure you can adapt what I've told you to make it work in whatever space you have. Now, if you've read my blog and my review on the Warrior Collective website, you'll know just how much I love the Fairtex pole bags. So if you want any more information on these pole bags, I got mine from muaythaiboxing.com, but I'm sure you can check out Fairtex's website as well for any further information. I hope this has been of great help to you guys. Give it a like and a share, and stay tuned for the next video.